And take two. This is the
Hello.
This is the Spirit Release Academy, take two, with medium and trance medium, animal communicator, healer, and now a certified practitioner through the Spirit Release Academy, Polly Harnett. Welcome to the live stream, Polly. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. Second time lucky.
Second time lucky. I'm just going to go on and try and delete the last one because that was awful. I don't know what happened. I think we were live for about 5 seconds, and then it all went pear shaped.
It certainly
So I'm just gonna try and lose that one as we're talking. So whilst I'm doing that, keeping well.
I'm keeping very well. Thank you very much. Keeping very busy.
Good, good. Hopefully with the work coming through, is that right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Since well, I told a lot of my clients about that I was going to be attending the Spirit Release course, and so they were all. There was a few that were desperate and waiting for my services, and so yeah, I've been busy not only with my readings and trance work. I've also been, suddenly very busy with the clearings, which has been amazing. I sort of didn't really know that it was going to sort of happen that quickly, if that makes sense. When you first become established in something and then you think, oh, it's going to take ages, and then suddenly it's boom, which just shows the need for the work, I feel.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. So when you say about coming into it and then getting busy, when were you certified? How long have you been certified in this?
Well, I attended the May 2024 course,
Yeah.
so not really that long ago. By June, I think it was June, I was certified, and yeah, it's not been very long in the respect of actually being qualified as a spirit release in the Spirit Release Academy, or as a remote spirit release therapist, if you like. Yeah, it's just been very quick but amazing. But it feels like I've just on the course alone, I feel like I had a year's worth of learning. It was the most incredible thing. Absolutely incredible.
Wow. Wow. Well, I mean that's all down to the work and effort that you put in. It's as simple as that. So
Mm,
so let's let's both of us be honest with everyone that's watching. I know you very well.
you do.
I've known Polly for a number of years, and actually, I knew Polly pre-spiritual life. Polly was a good friend of the family, my wife and children. Polly's children are very very similar ages to my children, and that's how we got together in a friendship, through my son and daughter and your daughter and son,
Yeah.
and all of them just created havoc for a number of years whilst they were around each other. Whilst Polly and I probably created havoc for a number of years whilst we were around each other as well.
Yeah,
So Polly
absolutely.
is a very, very close friend of mine. And yeah, I mean, you've certainly experienced my spiritual awakening and my journey just as I've experienced yours. But for those many people that are going to see this, they don't know you at all.
No.
So what was the day when you weren't a spiritual worker, and what happened to the next day when you started to begin your work?
Well, I think with my story, it goes back so far because I can actually remember being 3 years old, and my unbeknown to me, when you're three, my mum was actually very, very psychic and actually a very natural medium. She never did it in a professional way. She just scared the living daylights out of her children with it, for example. Like, whatever we did, she knew before we were going to do it. And, we always got caught basically for everything we did. Don't recommend having a psychic mother or mediumistic mother. My children have obviously experienced the same. But I can remember being 3 years old, nearly 4, and I used to be terrified of the dark, because I can remember in my cupboard that had no cupboard door on it. It was sort of an internal wardrobe. I could see an old colonel and 2 children playing in my cupboard from a very, very early age. So that was sort of maybe how, I mean, it used to scare me to death, and I never said anything because I'm one of those people that just doesn't really tell people when I'm scared. And so then I can remember, just a little bit older than that, my dad used to sit near the bedroom door. So he used to sit there every single night while I'd go to sleep. And I woke up in the night one night, and my dad, love him to bits, still going strong, my old dad, bless him. I remember waking up in the night, and basically it wasn't my dad sitting at my door. It was a very thin man, bald head, round glasses on, and I was sort of scared but not scared, and I got the feeling that he was a grandfather. So the next morning I went downstairs and I said to my mum, I had a funny dream. And she said, what did you dream? And I said, there was a man, and he was very thin, and he had glasses on, and he had a bald head, and she went into the other room, brought in a photo and said, is this him? And it turns out it was my granddad who passed away in the war. So back right from that age is when I can remember things happening. Obviously you go through your teenage years and you rebel a bit against just about everything. You know, I didn't want to see this sort of thing, so I didn't. But I was experiencing a lot of things, very sensitive to feelings, spirit and everything, but I didn't want to do it. And then it was probably about the age of about 21, 22 when I realized that it wasn't going to leave me alone. And so I started reading books about things like, because the first thing you think about with spiritual things when you're younger is things like tarot cards and ghosts, isn't it? So I became very interested in ghosts and tarot cards, and eventually taught myself to do the tarot. So the way I read tarot, for example, will be very different than perhaps somebody else might, because I've taught myself to do the tarot. So really, it's been on and off really all of my life, but actually in a professional way, probably not until my 30s. Probably early 30s is when I decided that was when I was going to go at it, hammer and tong, if you like. And I literally, once I let them in, that's been it. So for at least 23, 24 years, it's been nothing but spiritual work.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like and everything I try that isn't spiritual work lasts about, I think they'll give me about 4 months leeway, and then it doesn't work out. So I come back to what I do again. And I just know that that's my journey now.
Perfect. And that's work doing what, Polly? In your spiritual side of things?
In my spiritual life at the moment, what I'm doing a lot of is mediumship, so mental mediumship readings. I'm doing trance mediumship readings, trance healing. Tarot cards obviously comes into it sometimes, not with the trance, with regard to mediumship readings. And so, just a combination of those really, and a lot of animal healing and communication also.
So it's keeping you busy.
It does keep me busy.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was it about the sort of spirit release side that caught your attention?
Well, obviously, knowing you, I've known, like you've said, I think we went through different things at different times, and you introduced me to trance a long, long, long time ago now. I remember being terrified the first time I tried it, and then it became totally addicted to it, which is a thing.
I was terrified the first time you tried it.
I was actually terrified. But obviously now I know that, if you do anything in the light, if you do anything for the right intentions, then it's going to start working out for you. But because I've done a lot of the trance work, I've sat in circles for years, whether it's trance or physical mediumship. I had my own trance and physical mediumship circle, and also was teaching that. It just became more and more apparent that probably up for a good year and a half prior to the SRA course, was the fact that my guide, who is very strong, her name's Maya, she literally started bringing my awareness to things like attachments, I can remember one situation where I remember doing a healing and pulling what looked like dustbin bags of stuff out of somebody's head. There was times when I was seeing very, very strong past life attachments that were causing them problems in this life. And it was ironic, you know, the information that came out made total sense with them in things that they were doing in this life. And removing those cords. Now, this all seemed to be happening in a very sort of, it was almost like overnight. It was really strange. It was the way it happened. It was almost like I didn't used to see it, and then suddenly, wham, I did. And from talking to you and your experiences, and when you went onto the journey of spirit release work, I felt, again, terrifying. First of all, that was my first thought, and then totally intriguement of it. And as it was happening more and more to myself, well, my guides were doing this, not me. But obviously, I am the body that they're using, and so it just became more intriguing to me that all these things could actually be affecting somebody's life. You know, it can affect them, their everyday life. It can affect their existence. It can affect their relationships with people, affect their mental health. And obviously, you know, the world's in a very strange place at the moment. And it was just obvious that my guides were telling me, no, this is the way you're going, Polly. This is why you've been learning trance. This is why you've been learning to work in the altered states. This is why you've been doing trance healing, is because actually this is where you're going. This is where you're going. And
okay.
And that's why it seemed like everything's happened in this sequence so that now I can be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense to me. So, I mean, just whilst we're talking about you going into trance and sort of doing this work, one of the questions that has come up is to explain about the first time you went into trance and the first time we sat for trance.
The first time I sat for trance was with, obviously, you, Jonno, and an amazing trance medium called Wendy, who Jonno may have talked about before. I don't know if you've talked about Wendy before, but absolutely amazing. You know, if I don't sort of get starstruck, let's say, very often, but when you meet somebody who you think, whoa, she was one of those people, wasn't she, Jonno?
Amazing.
Well, and just as, you know, with your trance and everything you do, I look up to you in the same respect. And obviously you two had been sitting together for quite some time and in circles. And so one day they said, Polly, would you like to have a go? No, first of all, would you like to watch? And I was like, oh yeah, but I'm really scared. I probably didn't say I was scared, but I was terrified. I was thinking, you know, I had this awful image of somebody like Ghost, you know, when a ghost, like a ghost jumps into somebody's body and literally takes it over. You know, I'm like having this sort of preconceived idea of what was going to happen. And so we watched Jonno first, I think. And so then I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is like White Hawk. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I was like sitting there with my mouth wide open, just staring. And totally intrigued by all the information. And then Wendy sat and her guide came through. Was it Chan or Chan? Yeah. Came through and gave me a message that made sense about 4 years later. At the time, I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe she's saying this, you know, and it was all really like intriguing. I was thinking, really, you know, and my mind's going haywire. I remember her voice in trance, and I remember going into fits of laughter because I was so nervous. It was like, I don't know what to do. And when I'm nervous, I either laugh or cry. So it was a laugh. So it was brilliant. And I was sat again with my mouth wide open thinking, this is amazing. And the next minute they're saying to me, Polly, would you like to have a go? And I'm like, no. Inside, no. I really don't want to have a go. But they're saying, no, it's all right. We'll talk you down. And so I remember sitting in the chair and they were talking about the breathing, and then like we did the protection, then we're doing the breathing, and the breathing was just to take me down into a nice altered state. And I can remember distinctly I mean, I'm very unaware now when I do trance, but I was so aware at that moment. But I felt like I had been inflated. I felt like, I mean, I'm not a big person by any means of the word, you know, and I felt like I'd inflated, like my whole being had turned into quite a large man. I'm going like this because that's how I felt. I could feel my face changing. I could feel it felt like my nose was stretching outwards. It was really bizarre. And like I said, I can still remember to this day. I can't remember whether it was you, Jonno, or if it was Wendy. One of you said, welcome, and do you have a name? And the name Marcus came out. And I was thinking, Marcus, who the hell's Marcus? That's what I can remember thinking it. And I think you questioned me a bit, and the words that were coming out were not mine, but I was still aware. So at the time I was like, I want to sort of let go of control, but I don't want to let go of control. So it was intriguing just watching YouTube, but then doing it yourself is a whole different story. I can't remember much after that, I'm going to be honest. I think I might have just gone home and not slept because it was just such an experience.
I know that feeling.
But then you become so, like, it's almost like, I don't mean it like an addiction, a bad addiction, but it's such an amazing feeling when you're doing it properly that you sort of feel like nothing else matters in the world. It's always like when you've got that link, and as you go on in your journey, don't you get like a relationship with your guide, like a really strong relationship with your guide. Like that guide is on your side, that guide is looking after you and protecting you, and that guide is going to be giving information for the power of good. And that is a relationship that is like no other relationship. Yeah,
I completely agree. I completely understand exactly what you're saying. And the whole thing with trance, and as you know, Polly, from someone that sat in trance circles for many, many years, and also teaching trance, is that the best advice for trance is do it with someone who knows exactly what it is they're doing, because you're going into an altered condition. This is not the type of, I mean, you can't mess around with any type of spiritualism really, or any type of development. You know, we all hear stories of the Ouija board and stuff, but trance is an openness to possession of energy. It's an openness of energy coming into your space and working through you. So you have to have somebody with a lot of experience sitting opposite you, particularly in your very, very early stages, and going through the early basis of development. And just before we go into you working in the academy, my daughter has just come on. She's seen that we're here. And Rihanna is just saying hi to you, Polly, as well.
Hi, Rihanna.
So, I mean, clearly that there's a number of years experience there I know there's a lot of experience there. I know that you carry a very good reputation for your mediumship, for your readings. I know that you carry a very good reputation for the work that you do spiritually, and also morally for who you are as a person. So you decided then to give it a go in the SRA and come on our course. So how is that?
I think I went through every single emotion on that in that week. I attended the in-person course. My friend Jane Morton, who's probably watching as well, she came along with me. Pardon? She's here as well. So we came along. I was like dead set. This is what I'm going to do. This is my future. I knew it. I knew in my heart this is what I was supposed to be doing. So I'm so excited about the course, but then nervous at the same time. And I mean, the whole experience is like when you get there, the place, I can't remember the hotel.
Beachfield House.
Beachfield House, the most stunning location. I mean, you just like in the middle of nowhere, aren't you? But it's beautiful. The grounds are beautiful, the staff are beautiful. So we'd been literally got there and were showered with tea and coffee before we even started, which was amazing. But literally the whole, when you get there, the classroom, the all the things that you provided us with, which were really cool, but I don't know if I'll say, because it would be surprised if you don't know, if you are going to go on the course. But I think I was a little bit nervous about, because, you know, when you're going to be sharing a week with people that you haven't got a clue who they are, you know, you haven't got a clue what they're like. But literally, I think, first of all, apart from the content of the course, is the amazing friends we made, from people from Canada, America, Malta, and England. Everybody was absolutely amazing, so welcoming, so friendly, all there with the right intention and the best intention, which was the best thing as well. But the content, I just remember day one, I don't think I've ever consumed so much information in the whole of my life. I was so like involved, and I'm like, without a doubt, got ADHD. I bounce off walls quite a lot of the time. And but I've never sat through a whole week where I have been totally glued, fixated, and like, it's almost like sponging in all this knowledge. It was like the amount of like different entities and the different all the different sorts of like parasites and entities and the levels of entities, the negative chords and the past life chords, the traumas, and all of these things that you can find. Obviously, we're learning this over the week. I don't think I'd ever heard of half of them, you know, which is amazing, because you think all this had happened to me prior, the year and a half prior to me coming, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is cool. Okay, then we're taking this and we're taking that, and we're healing this and we're healing that, and the knowledge, like I said, of all the things that you could find, learning about those things, how they can impact, how all of these things, obviously nobody's likely to have every single one of them, but how these things affect people's mental health, how, you know, people can just be literally normal-ish, you know, we're all got our flaws, living a normal-ish life, and then suddenly things start affecting our life, our mental health, when our guards are down, or when we're not maybe in a good place mentally. And I just can't explain how much I learned. I can't explain. It's like, I don't want anyone to be overwhelmed by it, because it was the best thing I've ever done. It was honestly the best course.
Wow.
The best tutors, the best group. It was start to finish, totally gripped me. And for something to grip me like that, it's, for one, it's almost rare. It's so rare it would almost be impossible. But it was amazing. I can't state enough how good and how incredible that course was.
Well, I think that goes down to the credit of a lot of our assessors. I mean, we've got Tara, she's watching. We've got Natasha watching. They head up the assessors. Tara and Natasha are two very, very experienced practitioners who also did training with Dr. P. And this is why we screen people coming in, because as you can appreciate, Polly, it's quite an intense course.
Oh yeah.
Although we have fun, the subject matter is very intense, and we have fun because we've got to keep the energy high. We've got to keep the energy smooth, and so we're not all affected by it. But quite simply, one bad apple in that room, and I don't necessarily mean personality-wise, but someone that doesn't have the ability to handle the conversations that we have, can make a big difference, can't it? And
oh yeah.
You know, we did design it where we're sort of bringing in different pieces, and then all of a sudden on the Wednesday afternoon, they all start fitting together, and we start building the picture of how this actually works. So you work as a medium.
Yeah.
And you will work with a facilitator.
Yeah.
And you fully understand how that works. You fully understand the importance of that.
Absolutely. I mean, you need both. You need both. The facilitator is basically looking after the medium for one. It's talking to the guide and going through the protocol, which is big. You know, we're looking for a lot of things, and some things might not be, like I said, there. Some people could have all sorts of things going on, but that facilitator is taking you through a whole protocol of let's say things, scenarios, and things to look out for, things to clear. There is no way that one could work without the other. There is absolutely no way. And I've been lucky that, you know, that everybody I've worked with, whether it was on the course, and now while I'm doing the clearings myself, with a facilitator, they are absolutely, you just couldn't do it without them. I feel so safe with the facilitators, so safe and looked after, for one thing, which is really, really important. There's total mutual respect with each of us, which is amazing as well. So yeah, there's just no way you could do one without the other. It's just, there's so much intensity to it, but at the same time, when you get that link with somebody, it works so well, doesn't it?
And that's it. The work is intense, but there's such a nice community. There's such a nice tribe or pack of practitioners. I think everyone's really lucky, because, you know, you all add to it, you all bring it in. But without that strength, the work would be a lot harder, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my guide Maya, you know, she seems to like to reel off all the things she finds and clears them all along the way, but you've still got to make sure that the facilitators making sure that all the other things are, you know, looked at and made sure that they're, you know, thoroughly gone through every single part of the protocol. Plus, like I said, they're looking after me as a medium, and that mutual respect and that mutual understanding between, you know, each of us is just, oh God, it's amazing. But everybody's taught, and like I said, everybody in Natasha, Tara are absolutely amazing. All the other people that are doing this setting, absolutely amazing. You can't get better. I mean, there's like a whole family of, if you can't get hold of one, somebody else is going to help you. You know, there's that feeling of totally being looked after in the Spirit Release Academy. Everyone's just so incredible.
And that's the whole support structure that we have around it as well, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Help on hand. Wherever you are, whatever you are.
Yeah.
Whatever you are, wherever you are, help is always on hand for you.
Absolutely.
And now, of course, you've come through the certification. You're working, I'll say your own clearance, but your own clearance with a facilitator. And just explain how that works, because they're not located in the... Do you work with UK facilitators?
I have worked with Matt quite a lot, Matt Kellum, and he's in America. So yeah, we've done quite a lot of clearings together. Obviously, you being, you know, I'm in England and he's in America, so we have to make sure that it juggles within time scales so that it's sort of late enough for him and early enough for me, if that makes sense. But I mean, to be honest, it's not that hard. It isn't that hard, really, to sort of tie things up. Myself and Jane Morton have worked together, but one of us being a medium and one of us being a facilitator. So it's quite good to get into that role occasionally, into the facilitator role, because you really appreciate how much work they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And writing up the reports and etc. So yeah, I've and hopefully I'll be working with some of the other facilitators at some point. So I'm keen to try. So if any of you facilitators are out there that would like a medium, I'm here.
Do it. Give Polly a call. And we're going to put your contact details on as well very soon. So if there is anybody out there that wants to contact you for reading, for all the sort of work that you do, that will be on your Facebook page, and we'll put that link on there. So now that you're coming through, and now you can see the other side, and now you can see the work that we do on a Wednesday evening when we all meet up and have our little chats and do our work. And also now, I guess, what we talk about in class is now coming through to fruition, isn't it? And
oh, absolutely.
Everything that we discuss, you're now beginning to experience.
The Wednesday nights, I feel, are invaluable, really. I mean, not only do you get to talk about your own experiences, it's and again a really good support system in that way. because, you know, whatever sort of work you do, sometimes you hit an obstacle, don't you? You know, or you wonder about something, or it's amazing to be able to have like all of those people with all that experience, just to like run things by and ask questions, and nobody's judged when you ask a question. In fact, probably other people want to know the answer to that question as well.
They do. Yeah.
So that's really good, and the work and the practices, and it's good to practice in front of people, even if you are going out there and doing them yourself. I always feel like, you know, sometimes it's good for other people to sort of see how you're doing it. I enjoy watching other people do that when they practice. I enjoy that very much, actually. It's nice to see other people work, because we're all different at the end of the day, aren't we? But yeah, it's really invaluable to be able to have that time when you can just run things by each other and have those chats, and what's working, what's not working, that sort of thing. How can we be better? And it is a thing, you know, how can we be better? I take it on the chin. It's like, if I can be better, I'll be better. You know.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we say, is that we have about an 80% success rate. And I think there are many sort of industries where they would kind of be happy with 80%. It's a really good stat. It's a really good ratio to have. But for us, it's nowhere near where we want to be. We want to be up to 100%. There might be an argument that 100% is never achievable. Well, let's find out. I think that's the question. Let's find out. Let's get 85%. Let's get 90, 95, and then let's push for 100. Because there's so much work out there that is required. So many different aspects are needed. And with all these different practitioners coming into the academy now, all with their different experiences and life experiences and qualifications, we're beginning to put those feelers out into different aspects as well. And that will all start coming through, I'm going to guess, within about the next 6 to 10 months. And that will happen as well. But just one of the questions that's come up is the difference between psychic surgery, or what's the difference between a psychic surgery and the SRT course. And very simply, the vibration that the guides work at to do the SRT, spirit release therapy, is on a completely different frequency than it is for the actual healing and psychic surgery. With psychic surgery, you're really looking at disbalance of energy, dis-ease of energy. You're looking at manifestation of illness. You're looking at bone structure. You're looking at everything to do physically with the body where there is illness, including mental health. With spirit release therapy, it does touch on mental health, because obviously you're looking to release attachments and interference. There are shades across the eyes, perhaps. There's something audio. There's plates in there that have control and mind games, and we work to clearing all that. So SRT it's kind of like you got your tin hat on, you're in the trenches, you're down and dirty, you're the spiritual first aider. So if you really want to have a good psychic surgery session, you'll have SRT first, and then you'll have your hearing. Whatever it is in life that you want to have, it's the SRT that comes first. Because unless you have a clear energy, what are you going to work with? And it's the vibration that the guides work with on the spirit release therapy, particularly through the protocol that we have, the way that it's been developed over the years, is that it is completely unique. It is completely different. I hope that kind of makes sense. And certainly when people come to me and they book SRT, but they need psychic surgery, it's a different thing. If people book psychic surgery thinking they're getting SRT, they're not. If you're booking psychic surgery, you're getting psychic surgery. You're not getting SRT. It's a different thing completely. It's like playing rugby and football. They're both sports. They're both ball games. They're both team games, and they're completely different. It really is as simple as that. So if there is anybody out there, Polly, that is kind of looking at the USA course, perhaps, which we have in October, and anybody thinking, we call it hearing the calling, because, you know, we're not necessarily looking for people that just fancy it. We're looking at people that are drawn to it exactly like you. They know they're going to be a worker. They know they're going to take it seriously, because we need that level of practitioner to push this work through the world, and that's why we look for that level. But if there is anybody on the fence who is almost there, or anybody that kind of thinks, shall I, shan't I? There's been a few stories over recent months about attachments and things like that. What would you say to them if they're listening?
If you've got any interest, and when I say you've got the right attitude, I really do mean that, because you've really got to be, when you're working in this way, it isn't about you, it isn't about me, it's not about me at all. It's about the client and the team we're working with. So it's having that sort of passion of wanting to do this sort of work, the integrity to do this sort of work, and wanting to help people, basically genuinely wanting to make the world a better place, genuinely wanting to help another person with their mental health, their physical health, all the things that come with spirit release. I would say just go for it. I mean, with regard to the courses that Jonno and Andy run, have you? I don't know if you've got a online one at the moment, have you? Or but that's already going.
Yeah, that started, and we're going to start teaching in September. But they're going through the Q&A section first.
Okay, so yeah, there's options of, obviously there's going to be online ones. The next one is in America. Is whereabouts in America?
Ithaca, in the state of New York.
Oh, wow. So if you're interested in joining that one, without a doubt, I'm just going to say do it. If you are unsure about what it all means, please do contact Jonno or Andy, and I'm sure they'll give you a barrage of information. But it's not something to be nervous about. It's not something to be scared about. This sort of work, as Jonno and Andy explained on the course, you know, it can sound very dark, but actually we're not. It's not dark. We're working for the light, and we're going out there as light workers to make this world and a better place, to help people and help their lives and help them to go forwards in life. That's what you need to want to do and have passion to do. So if that is you, I want to say, just don't hesitate. Please get hold of them and ask about it, inquire about it, and go for it. Seriously, best thing I ever did, best course I ever did, best experience I ever had.
That's amazing. Thank you very much for saying it the way you did. And certainly from my point of view, I think the way that I see it, and I was thinking about this, I was awake very early this morning, and I was thinking about different things, and part of what I was thinking about was the course and stuff. And there's that story about someone walking down the beach, and there was those thousands of starfish, and the guy was picking one up and putting it back, and someone said to him, "Why would you do that? There's thousands here, you're not making a difference." And he said, "I'm making a difference to that starfish, and that's all that matters." And I often think, this morning I think of it in a way that I was on that beach, all this starfish, and I was picking one up, throwing it back. Did that for a little while, did that for a few years, and then I saw this guy, Andy, who was down the other end of the beach. And we sort of came together. And instead of throwing a starfish back each, we then started throwing starfish back together.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit later, there's these two beautiful ladies on the other side of the beach. Me and Andy are working together. Tara and Natasha are working on the other side of the beach, and they're doing exactly the same as us. A little team putting the starfish back into the sea and making sure that one by one that they're doing their best to help them. And now that one person has gone to a team of 4. And now we have the academy. And now on the beach, there's around 22 to 25 practitioners, each making a difference to a single starfish. And there are thousands left. So this is exactly how I see the work of the academy, is that there is so much work for us to do. The people on the beach have earned the position to be there. Like you, Polly, the amount of effort that you put in to get your certification, the amount of effort that the assessors have done to be an assessor. Everybody has put pretty much their life energy into doing what we're doing. And one starfish at a time is seeing the difference in that work. And this is why it's so important. So if there is anybody that is interested in contacting Polly, I'm going to put your details on there, and people can come through that and they can contact Polly directly. I'm also going to put our little page on here. No. And if anybody is interested in asking questions about the course that we have in October, now is the time to ask. We're getting people ready. We have a private group for people that are already paying deposits and already asking questions about car sharing, about where they're staying. We already have that private group. So if you want to come into that and ask some questions, just let us know. Email us, contact@spiritreleaseacademy.com, and we'll come back to you and we'll help you however we can. And I'm just going to finish with Tara's message that Polly is amazing. And yes, she is. She's a very, very good medium, very experienced. She's got a wonderful reputation in the UK, and that reputation is now being spread out throughout the world as well. So with that, I'm going to thank you very much for coming, Polly. It's been an absolute well. I always have a laugh with you anyway, but officially from the Academy side of things is thank you very much, and we've really appreciated your time. And we're going to hopefully, well, we have you on the practitioners page. People can go through there and contact you directly as well. Thank you very much, Polly. Thank you so very much to everybody for coming in. Sorry, say again.
So thank you so much again, and thank you everyone that's joined. And please do inquire about the courses. They are absolutely amazing.
Wonderful. Hope everybody has a great day. It's coming to the end of the week, and I hope you've all got fantastic weekends coming up. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.